Leo was not like other lions while his kin lounged in the golden savanna grass, content with the rhythmic symphony of insects and wind. Leo felt a deep, unsettling dread whenever quiet descended. The vast emptiness of silence felt like a physical void pressing in on him, making his mighty heart race with an unfamiliar panic. He feared what thoughts might creep in, what loneliness might echo in that absence of sound, a vulnerability the proud king of beasts felt he could never show. To combat this fear, Leo became a creature of constant noise, padding restlessly across the plains, deliberately snapping twigs under his immense paws, rumbling low growls deep in his chest even when there was no threat. Anything to fill the terrifying stillness before it could take hold and unravel him. His days became an exhausting performance. He roared greetings at the distant, unconcerned mountains at dawn, startling flocks of birds into frantic flight. He engaged the chattering monkeys in endless, one-sided conversations about the weather, his deep voice a stark contrast to their high-pitched squeals. He even swatted playfully at buzzing beetles just to hear the frantic whir of their wings. The other animals grew weary of his relentless clamor. The elephants flapped their ears in annoyance. The gazelles grew skittish at his constant, unnecessary vocal presence. Leo saw their looks, a mixture of puzzlement and pity, and it stung his pride deeply. Yet the thought of stopping, of letting the quiet rush in, was infinitely more frightening than their judgment. One cool, moonlit night, as Leo paced near the whispering reeds of the watering hole, nervously swishing his tail to disturb the pebbles, he encountered Luna, a small rabbit with wise, gentle eyes and one ear permanently bent from an old injury. She watched him patiently, her nose twitching not in fear, but in quiet observation. "King Leo," she said softly, her voice barely louder than the rustling grass, "why do you fight the night song? The moon is listening. The stars are singing light. The quiet isn't empty. Euros full of things too soft for roaring." Leo stopped, his latest growl dying in his throat. He looked down at the small creature, her words a strange, quiet melody against his internal cacophony. "It feels hollow," he rumbled, a tremor of vulnerability in his voice he couldn't quite mask, like falling into a deep, dark cave with no bottom. Luna simply blinked, offering no easy answers, only her calm presence in the moonlight. A few nights later, a sharp cry pierced the dark near the acacia grove. Leo bounded towards the sound, his protective instincts overriding his fear. He found Luna trapped under a fallen branch, her leg pinned, trembling with pain and shock. Her usual quiet composure was shattered. Carefully, with immense gentleness for his size, Leo lifted the heavy wood. Luna lay panting, her breath shallow. She needed help, she needed calm, but most urgently, she needed him to stay the frantic urge to roar for assistance, to fill the awful tension with sound, surged within him. But looking into her pain-filled eyes, he understood a roar might frighten her further, might attract unwanted predators. He had to be still, he had to be silent. With a tremendous effort that felt like holding back a flood, Leo lowered his massive body to the earth beside her, pressing his warmth gently against her small form. The silence that followed was the most profound terror Leo had ever faced. It roared louder in his ears than any sound he could make. He heard the frantic drumming of his own heart, the ragged rhythm of Euros breathing, the distant, indifferent chirp of a single cricket. His muscles trembled with the effort of stillness. He focused entirely on the small rabbit beside him, the soft rise and fall of her fur, the warmth radiating from her tiny body. Slowly, minute by agonizing minute, something shifted. The silence stopped feeling like a threatening void. Instead, it became a space, a shared space, filled only with their presence, her need, and his fierce, quiet guardianship. It was a container for his care, not an absence to be feared. He held his breath, listening, truly listening, for the first time as Luna slowly recovered. Over the next few days, resting near Leo's favorite sunning rock, he began tentative experiments with stillness. He would sit by the gently babbling stream, not roaring at the fish, but closing his eyes and letting the water's soft chatter wash over him, learning its patterns and rhythms. He lay under the great baobab tree at noon, letting the drowsy hum of bees and the sigh of the wind through the leaves become a lullaby instead of a signal for noise. He discovered the delicate rustle of a lizard scurrying through dry grass, the almost imperceptible creak of a branch bending in the breeze. These weren't sounds he needed to dominate or interrupt. They were whispers of a world he'd been too loud to hear. The quiet, he realized with growing wonder, wasn't his enemy. It was a canvas painted with subtle, beautiful details. The true test came weeks later. A lost lion cub, separated from its pride, stumbled near Leo's territory, mewling with fright, its tiny body shaking instinctively. The old urge to roar reassurance surged within Leo, but he stopped himself. A loud roar might terrify the little one further. Instead, Leo moved slowly, deliberately, settling his large form onto the grass a small distance away. He didn't speak, didn't rumble. He simply breathed slowly, deeply, projecting calm with his entire being. He met the cub's wide, terrified eyes and held that gaze steadily, radiating safety. Without a sound, the cub's frantic mewling gradually softened into whimpers, then into hitched breaths drawn by the immense, silent stability Leo offered. The cub crept closer, inch by trembling inch, until it finally pressed its small, warm body against Leo's mighty foreleg. In that profound quiet, thick with unspoken comfort and trust, Leo understood his silence wasn't weakness. It was shelter, a deep, resonant peace stronger than any roar. Leo never became a truly silent lion. His mighty roar still echoed across the savannah when danger threatened his pride, but now, he also knew the profound strength found in stillness. He could lie for hours beside his sleeping kin, listening to the symphony of the night, the distant whoop of a hyena, the sigh of the wind, the soft chorus of insects. Without a flicker of fear, he cherished the comfortable quiet shared with friends like Luna, a language deeper than words. The vastness of the sky no longer echoed with emptiness, but hummed with a peaceful presence. Leo, the mighty lion who once feared his own silence, had discovered its true nature, a gentle, powerful embrace holding the heartbeat of the world, and the deepest peace he would ever know. He rested his great head on his paws, utterly content, under the endless, quiet stars.